Okay.
Someone not log on.
Were you behind it?
I think we're ready.
Okay, we're ready? We're rolling?
Brian is logging in. We'll just give him a minute here.
Mike Piat is also on his way.
Oh, okay.
So he
We
needs to be
can
excused
Right, we can get
once he
started.
gets here.
Locked in there, Brian?
This one's, oh, there we go.
Okay, I will call the meeting of the Green Bay Economic Development Authority to order. We'll start out with roll call. Sikich is here. Borley is excused. Brian Johnson. Here. Eric Genrick.
Here.
Pam Parrish.
Here,
Mohammed is excused. And Mike Piat is excused. Okay, item B, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda of today's meeting.
so moved.
Moved by Parrish, is there a second? Second. Second by Genrick, and discussion, all in favor say aye. Carried. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting, September 12th.
So moved.
Moved by Parrish, is there a second? Second. Second by Genrick, any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Carried. Okay, item D, regular business. Consideration of an initial resolution regarding industrial development revenue bond financing for M&M Warehousing LLC project. Information with respect to the job impact of the project will be available at the time of the consideration of the initial resolution. So, Wendy? you're
Yes,
up.
we received an application, and we have the applicants here to discuss that, along with their counsel, and you may have questions for them.
Sure.
In your packet, you'll find all of the information, the initial resolution, procedure letter, notice of intent, and all the other documents required for this particular type of procedure. We haven't done one before, but this is, it's a real economic development tool, and so we think that it belongs in the EDA piece, even though it's, says bond, it's not really financing, it's really an economic development tool. It doesn't really affect our bond rating, and so we thought that it would be housed very well within the EDA realm of scope of practice. So that's why we have it before the committee.
Okay. I think for the record, why don't you all give your names, and, your position with the company, and then maybe just a quick snapshot of the project, I think would help the.
Would you also mind spelling your last name for Jessica when she's recording the minutes?
Sure.
And we'll also need a motion open the floor.
Yep.
Oh, is there a motion to open the, moved by Genrick, second?
Second.
Parrish, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried.
I'll begin. I'm Dan Gentges, last name is spelled Gentges, and I'm with the law firm of Hush Blackwell, our Milwaukee office, and we're serving as bond counsel, so assisting with the development of the bond documents and facilitating the transaction on behalf of the applicant.
Okay, very good.
My name is Jim Morgan, Morgan, I'm a project manager for M&M Warehousing, and we're here to apply for this, so thank you for your attention.
Mike Lane, also on behalf of M&M Warehousing. I'm also the Chief Operating Officer in Terry Buildings, so I oversee several of the operations that go on. So this is a very important step for us, and that's why we're here.
Okay. Now, I understand the project actually is going to include two facilities. Did I see that?
2 phases.
Okay, 2 phases.
So the initial phase, that's just what the job creation is about. It matches something that we're currently doing. We have 3 employees there that will be transferred to the new facility. The existing facility is a little challenged, it's older, and it's not very efficient, and that's what we're looking to do to clean that up. With that, there was only one clerical in the packet change that needed to be made for clarification on the job application. The jobs transferred was checked no. It's actually yes.
Oh, okay.
Just for clerical reasons.
Which page was that, please? Was that on
It's on the
the notice of intent? Got
Yes.
it. Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions?
Do you want to explain a little bit about what's going on here?
Sure. These are, as Wendy mentioned earlier, private activity bonds, so they are not bonds in the traditional sense where the city's asked to undertake any obligation. They'll be issued by the city, likely purchased by a single investor, likely a bank, and then they'll be used to finance the project. They're, as conduit bonds, the borrower or the applicant is the ultimate party that's responsible for repaying the bonds. And whoever the bond purchaser is, again, probably the bank, will step in then as a traditional construction lender and will take a mortgage, will take assignment of rents and leases and so forth as security, the way a construction lender typically does, and then will fund through essentially like a construction dispersing vehicle will fund the construction with the bond proceeds. Bond proceeds will be used for the hard costs of construction, some soft costs, development, and also some equipment that will be incorporated into the project. And the significance of the initial resolution request is under the applicable law that once the initial resolution is issued, any eligible project expenses that are incurred within 60 days prior to the initial resolution can be included in the bond. So it's really the first step in the process, and it gives you a starting point for the applicant as they begin their process of moving the development along.
And as you said right in the beginning, there's no financial liability or whatever with the city involved in these. It's, it's basically it's a tool to help finance the project.
Exactly. The city is the issuer, and so it's nominally the issuer of the bonds, but the party that's responsible for repaying it is the applicant.
So in the, of course, the very unlikely event that a default were to occur, who is responsible? I mean, is the city completely immune from liability if a
Yes.
default were to occur?
Yes. Yeah, this is not like a general obligation bond where the city's full faith and credit is put at risk. This is essentially they're referred to as conduit bonds on the notion that the party that ultimately is the borrower is the party that will be responsible for repaying the bond purchaser. And the bond purchaser, Bank X, will have the rights that any bank would, construction lender would at that point. It can foreclose on its mortgage. It can step in and foreclose on any personal property where it has a security interest in that, again, unlikely event that there's that the bonds aren't paid. But the structure of the bonds will be, I treat them as a vehicle. The structure of the bonds will be over here, and then there'll be a separate credit facility where the bond proceeds flow through from the bank that's purchasing the bonds. And there'll be a credit agreement, a mortgage, security agreement, all those traditional security documents for the protection of the bank if the bonds aren't paid.
So are you unable, I presume then, you're unable to take those bonds out yourself, and that's why the city needs to be involved? Or could you explain to me, I guess, why the city needs to be involved in these?
Sure. The benefit with an industrial development revenue bond is the interest that the bank purchaser or the purchaser of the bonds receives is exempt. So it's exempt from the federal corporate tax. So the savings that the bond purchaser realizes essentially passed through to its customer, the borrower. And the borrower receives today it's probably 19-18% savings in interest rate over what it would have received. So that's the reason that borrowers like industrial development revenue bonds is an opportunity to obtain a more favorable interest rate over the life of the bonds.
Like you mentioned, it's a good tool. It hasn't been used in recent memory, interest rates between private and public have been so close. Now you start to get a little more of a spread, and so programs like this become, more attractive in terms of, being used as a tool. From a city, it's good too. Really, it's kind of a state program administered through a municipality, so you need a municipality or tax exempt entity to pass it through. There are certain criteria that a state also has in terms of what it has to meet in terms of, industry and manufacturing. So, when we've been talking about different projects, we've put other industrial projects down this pipeline that haven't worked out. But this, we found is through M&M, this would be a very good tool to help move this project forward. And, as a city, I think, we're willing to work with them and maybe seeing a few others come down the pipeline here.
Any other questions?
Did you want to identify the
What's it?
other person?
So,
Sure, you just enter Mike Piat.
Mike Pia.
Thank you, Mike.
Any other questions? I guess I'll first entertain a motion to return back to the regular order of business.
So moved.
Moved by Parrish, is there a second? Second. Second by Genrick, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Carried. So I guess we'd basically be approving the initial resolution of the, okay. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the initial resolution regarding the industrial development bond financing for M&M warehousing. So moved. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Oh, pardon me, second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Just a point of clarification, it still needs to go in front of the full council.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just making sure you guys were aware. December 4th? Yes.
And then later on, there'll be the final resolution.
Yep, okay. Just want to make sure you guys. Yeah.
Okay, item B, informational update on brownfields program.
That'd be me.
Very expensive, or whatever, I don't know.
Program update sheet here right now.
For them, back in the day.
You'll see here on that top table, on that bottom row,
They were,
we are about
TMT was
32% through our grant
So they
funds.
were, disability
We
from
were awarded about 300, or just a little bit over a year ago. It's a 3-year grant program. It's all the way through. We're putting into
They were
good
gonna
use.
probably have.
The table at the bottom here shows all the projects that we've invested this grant dollars in.
If you have this issuance or city.
As we get closer to wrapping up this grant, we're going to be a little bit more selective in how we use it. We've been doing a pretty good job thus far to make sure that we invest these funds in sites that we feel have a really good likelihood of developing or redeveloping. And the vast majority of these funds have been going to the shipyard redevelopment area, Badger Sheet Metal Properties. We've invested a little bit with the rail yard for remedial action planning. So we've wrapped up all of our phase 1 funds. Those are all gone at this point. The remainder of our funds, pretty much phase 2, environmental site assessments, site investigation, remedial use planning. And in all likelihood, the majority of that will go to the shipyard site. As we're getting pretty close to wrapping this one up, of course, we're looking toward the future. The EPA is going to be announcing another grants opportunity here in the next few days, we anticipate. We're allowed to submit and to apply for that if we've spent up to 70% of our funds, so we've just passed that threshold. So we will be submitting for another assessment grant. probably gonna be applying for a cleanup grant too, which we could put to use for the shipyard site. That's pretty much where we are right now.
Is the shipyard site the only one right now that looks like there's gonna need to be cleanup dollars spent?
That's,
Or is it too soon to tell on some of the others?
yeah, well, we already do have caps on that property, but, you know, with developments, we're gonna be breaking into that
Right,
cap, and,
okay.
so we need to do some additional work there.
So no major red flags or anything on any of these so far, as far as contamination? or anything?
It's pretty common for the most part, you know. Green Bay is an old industrial
Yeah,
city.
yeah, so-
The things that we typically find, PAHs, it's pretty typical. It's nothing too scary. We're used to it. And it's pretty easy to remediate for the most part.
There's still pretty preliminary discussions about the coal piles and pulling them, location, landfill, all that. But if the funds were to be replenished, those two sites could be potential use
Absolutely.
for these funds.
Yep. Yep, that would probably be a priority.
Are these the 300,000? Is that, can you carry any of it over into 2019?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 3-year grant program which was awarded in 17.
Okay.
We'll be through with it probably in early 2019 is my guess.
Mhm.
Good. Keep up the good work. So are we gonna be able to get some more money when?
Crossing our fingers. You know, they've given us something every time we've applied for an assessment grant. We've got a great relationship with the EPA. They seem to like us, so.
Good track record so far.
Mhm.
too, so.
Yeah, you know, we've been able to leverage a lot
Yeah.
with these grant
Yeah.
funds, with the redevelopments, you know, with the redevelopment of the downtown mall and the rail yard property. So I think if we can continue to show that we're leveraging those funds with actual redevelopment, they'll continue to take interest in Green Bay.
Good. Good to hear. Good job.
Thanks.
Any other questions on the environmental assessment program, run-through program? Okay, development director's report.
Yes, all right. Development has been good. We've had a good year. I think we'll continue to have a great 2019. One of the things, interest, and we've talked a little bit about it here before, is potential expansion of our I-43 business park. We've started the process. Wendy, along with Dave Buck, in our office planner, have been working on really kind of identifying where, how we should expand. We had a meeting, public information meeting, was that about a month ago? Out of the woods, got really good turnout, got great participation from the property owners out there. Really our phases are to go do some wetland delineations in the spring, figure out what's wet, what's dry, and from there make some considerations about, what the future land use types will be out there, and then, what should be included in potentially an expansion of the business park. I think it's also important that we're going to be looking at the protective covenants out there. A lot of those businesses now, they're approaching 20, 30 years old and they're looking to expand. And so how do we also enable those businesses to expand, on their properties while still protecting the integrity, of the rest of the businesses out there in these covenants. So with that, I think we'll be probably looking, sometime next year for some action from this body in terms of, discussions and moving ahead with that expansion. Flip side, look, I'll be honest, we still have our fits and starts with the University Heights Business Park. Just when we think we've got some potential moving along, just haven't been able to seal the deal on anything out there. I can't say there's any one particular reason. I know Wendy's been working with a variety of clients out there. I still think there's a perception issue that it's way out there. When really it's not, if you look at the very far east side of 43, but we'll continue to work on that, and Director Ellenbecker and I have talked about that tax increment district and what's going to be held in the future, and I think You know, we have authorization from council to begin the process of looking at shutting it down. And I think, you know, we continue to talk and see, you know, if there's a project that's gonna come through, great. But if not, I think we need to have those considerations over the next year to see whether that's worth looking at potentially closing that down and waiting till a different time. Other than that, I mean, I'm here, so I'm happy to answer any other specific project questions that you may have about other things going on in the city.
Any other questions for Kevin? Okay, thanks. Quick update. Thank you. Our next meeting is December 10th, 2018. And I guess with that, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Dan, seconded by Eric. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Great. Thanks, everyone.
Sure.
What's that?
Apologize for a short meeting.